Alrighty, so today's video, we're gonna be talking about the 5 things you need to know about the DJI Air 3 before purchasing, or if you already have this drone, these are the things you need to know when using it. Let's get started. What's good, everybody? Ken here, you're watching OriginaldoBo. Now, I have compiled this. What's good, everybody? Ken here, you're watching OriginaldoBo, and these are the most common questions I have been asked about this drone in my recent videos. Starting with number 1, it's the charging brick. So if you're considering buying the Fly More kit, one of the things that they didn't tell us when they sent these kits out is that the 100-watt charging brick would not be included in the Fly More kit for the Air 3. I think this is a bit of a letdown, and it certainly didn't allow us to communicate that with you. We thought it came with it, and I've had to answer this question over and over again. As of right now, the 100-watt charging brick does not come with the DJI Air 3. However, I will go ahead and link some solutions down below that I have tested and I know are working, because as of right now on DJI's website, the 100-watt charger is out of stock, but you don't have to spend $99 to get 100 watts. There are plenty of options, mostly from the popular brand Anker, that offer similar solutions that have worked for me in the past on my Mavic 3 batteries, and I use on the Air 3 to be able to charge swiftly. All right, let's get into number 2. All right, number 2 shouldn't come as a shock. You need to be using ND filters with the Air 3. Because of the fixed aperture and because it's a 1.7 aperture, it's going to get a lot more light to the sensor. And because it's letting in more light to the sensor, you're gonna find yourself cranking your shutter to try to control that ISO. And sometimes if it's really bright, you won't even be able to crank the shutter hard enough to reduce the amount of light hitting that sensor. I've been there a couple of times recently traveling, and it really sucks. So because of that, you need to have ND filters. It should be the top priority when you are purchasing accessories for the Air 3. When the Air 3 first launched, there was very limited accessories available. There was very limited options when it came to ND filters, but now that I think production has caught up, we have Polar Pro, we have Freewell, and even DJI is now showing stock for their ND filters. So at the very least, pick yourself up an ND8 to an ND64 kit, and I think that'll do you for most situations. For me personally, I leave an ND16 on the drone at all times, and I find that it works most of the time pretty well. Filming real estate, I don't really worry about the shutter too terribly much, but if I'm going to track something a little bit faster, I may bump it up to an ND32 depending on the lighting conditions. All right, let's talk about number 3. All right, so number 3 pertains to video footage. If you are looking to get the most amount of dynamic range, color accuracy, the best possible image, you need to be filming in D-Log-M. D-Log-M is the only color profile on the Air 3 that offers 10-bit color. Now, why is 10-bit so important? 10-bit provides you much more color information, so you can move the colors around in post. You can get much cleaner blues without any banding or artifacting in the skies. And it also allows for much more vibrancy if you plan to deliver any content via HDR. This is something that I think a lot of people overlook because they feel that grading is not something they want to do, or they don't have the capability, but there's plenty of technical LUTs out there that allow you to take that from log footage to a beautifully colored image relatively quickly. And the more you practice, the better you will get at doing it. A lot of people complain about the image coming out of the drone, but the reality is it does take a little bit of work sometimes to get images. Even on the best cameras I have to do this with to get things where I absolutely want it. All right, let's talk about the number 4 thing, which is photos. Okay, so photos, something that I think there's a common misconception on. While the Air 3 does have beautiful photos, it also offers a 48 megapixel photo mode. Now, these 48 megapixel photos aren't really truly 48 megapixel. They're doing a pixel binning process on the photos that bring them up to a 48 megapixel photo. In theory, they're basically cramming 4 12 megapixel photos to give you 48 megapixels. Now, the problem with doing this is because I shoot auto brackets for real estate, it takes a little bit longer for the camera to actually process those brackets. much longer. And when you get those final images back and you look through them, sometimes you will find worm-like artifacts, very similar to what Fuji goes through with their sensors running it through Lightroom, which requires additional post cleanup. So the question beckons, do you shoot 48 megapixel photos? And for real estate, for me specifically, I feel like the 12 megapixel photos coming off the Air 3 work perfectly fine. I don't see really any need to jump to that 48 megapixel, but if you want to have much more data or you plan on, blowing it up on a canvas, then yes, the 48 megapixel does work, does give you a little bit more detail, but it does require some post-processing. All right, let's get to the fifth thing that you need to know, and probably the thing that most people care about. Currently, right now, the DJI Air 3 does not offer RC Pro support. If you're somebody who is an absolute brightness slut and have to have the brightest monitor when flying, you'll be sad to know that the DJI Air 3 does not work with that beautifully expensive RC Pro. And currently, as of right now, DJI hasn't given us any indication on whether or not it will work in the future. And because it's not known whether or not it will work or ever will work, I can't recommend you purchasing an RC Pro thinking that eventually it would work with the Air 3. This is the most common question that's been asked. Yes, the app has been updated on the RC Pro, but the actual software to allow the Air 3 to work with the RC Pro has not. It could come in the future, but I don't want to say yes or no. So if you are wanting a brighter screen, brighter than the RC2 offers, because the RC2 is only 700 nits, I would recommend buying the DJI RC N2, which is the base controller, and then adding a tablet additionally. Now, if you don't want to add a tablet additionally, you could wait around for this device that Triple Tech will be releasing in the near future. I can't tell you much more about this, but I will tell you it will solve all of your brightness woes, and it's pretty cool. But I can't really, again, I really can't elaborate much more on that, but just know in the near future, something really cool will be dropping from Triple Tech. Alrighty, so that's gonna do it for the 5 things you need to know about the DJI Air 3. Did any of these things shock you? Did I miss anything? I think I tried to cover the most common questions I have been asked about the Air 3. Hopefully it helps you with your purchasing decision, or if you already have it and you didn't already know, now you know. All right, I will see you in the next video. Stay original.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect.
I think the first time I ever came out that I was drone sexual was about 2017. I was flying the Parrot Bebop, and I was flying every day, and I couldn't hide it from my wife anymore. And finally, we were sitting down, I think we were at Applebee's, and I just opened up to her and I said, yeah, I'm drone sexual. There's something about putting a battery in this flying machine, the smell of the props turning in the morning, that just really twerks me off. And you know, she accepted it with open arms and realized that for the rest of my life I was going to be drone sexual, and there was nothing she can do about it.
Only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check and I'm bang. They see the